Man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing. Special shout out to all the boxing media that was on hand to cover last night's event. One of the things that got caught up in the lenses of the cameras, man, was the confrontation between Jermall Charlo and Daniel Jacobs. It looked like Jermall Charlo was in the middle of giving interviews, and in the same hallway, Daniel Jacobs just so happens to walk by. I love how he did that, though. He just walked by like, yo, perfect timing, you know what I mean? And just happened to crash the Jermall Charlo interviews, and he brought it to Jermall Charlo. Like, yo, what's up with that, man? What we gonna do? What we talking about here? You know what I mean? The thing is, we've been hearing the talks for the last few months. The question has emerged, and I've been did vids on this, about why isn't Jermall Charlo and Daniel Jacobs attempting to make a fight when they're rated right next to each other in the WBC. Now, we can't all sit around and have a staring contest amongst all these elite fighters at middleweight waiting on Canelo and Triple G. So, in the meantime, between time, these dudes need to be chopping it up and getting it in. It's the same way I feel about the welterweights, man. They all sitting around waiting on Keith Thurman when they need to be chopping it up amongst themselves. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, in this particular case, yo, like, Daniel Jacobs pulled up on Jermall Charlo, man. And, Jermall Charlo is known for popping that shit, man. Showing the hunger, the grit, the determination of a young, hungry lion. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag lions only. Him and his brother. Iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? They are known to be very, very rugged, skillful fighters. Yet when Daniel Jacobs walked up, the young, hungry lion look more like the young hungry pup, you know what I'm saying, or the cub, or whatever you want to call it, because Jermall Charlo turned into a different person. We didn't see that grittiness. What was the edginess? I love it, man. It's funny how people could talk all this crap when they in their own interviews. Oh, I want him, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. But then when the person pops up, it's like, oh yeah, we can get it on. Yeah, we can get it on. It just reminds me of like that time when Earl Spence Jr. and Keith Thurman was on like the same panel, and Keith Thurman was like popping off all this crap beforehand, and then right when they got on that panel, Keith Thurman became G14 classified. He pleaded the fifth. He had nothing to say. You know what I'm saying? And here you see a perfect example of such. Well, Daniel Jacobs basically brought the noise. And he told Jermall Charlo, like, yo, I'm not ducking you, man. I ran over to HBO to get them M's. You ain't got no M's yet, man. That's the only reason. I'm over in Europe promoting myself with Eddie Hearn to get them M's. Now, people like myself, boxing fans like myself, I can care less about talk like that. I don't care what kind of money you're trying to get, but I do understand the business aspect of boxing. But the question was burning, and truth be told, the burden of proof of the person who's seeming like ducking was coming from the Daniel Jacobs side, because we heard Daniel Jacobs' promoter, Eddie Hearn, state that he's not checking for a fight with Jermall Charlo right now. He clearly has the ambition on getting Daniel Jacobs back to Gennady Golovkin or either Canelo Alvarez. And it seems like he's not trying to take any of a threatening fight in the meantime, between time, until that fight comes around. Now, clearly, Billy Joe Saunders can't do it because Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren don't get along. Demetrius Andrade said he has to grow muscle mass first before he takes on a credible threat. You know what I mean? So Daniel Jacobs is in this position where he's hunting for an opponent, but the Charlo is right there. And Charlo said, I will take that fight. So once again, the burden of proof will be on the Jacobs side, because they're the ones that came out and said they ain't checking for Charlo. It was Eddie Hearn, at least, that said this. Now, take in mind, I don't never recall Daniel Jacobs feeling this way. I've seen Daniel Jacobs on social media. We've seen Daniel Jacobs in different interviews saying, yo, he would love to take the Jermall Charlo fight. But when it comes to his handler, Eddie Hearn, it seems like to be a different thing. I thought this would be an easy open and shut thing because they both are associated with Al Heyman. There ain't many political divides there. There ain't many political obstacles there. So, it is what it is. But I don't know, man. It seemed funny. Like I said, that maybe that's the reason why Daniel Jacobs had to go a little extra hard, because he knew that the words that came out of his camp was that they weren't checking for Charlo. It was never Charlo who said he wasn't checking for Jacobs, man. But that confrontation right there, man, goodness gracious, man. It's just like, yo, he put a little humble up in Jermall Charlo. And the funny thing is, I seen interviews after Daniel Jacobs had left, and Jermall Charlo got to popping off again. Oh, man, he talking about M's. Hey, you just keep my name out your mouth. Yeah, but that was after, Daniel Jacobs had left. You know what I mean? It was almost on some Debo stuff, man. Yeah, man, when he come, I shut up. but when he leave, I be talking again. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like one of them type things, man, because, yo, man, like, I respect Daniel Jacobs, how he pulled up on Jermall Charlo, man. Don't get me wrong. I don't, not respect Jermall Charlo any less. But the simple fact is, man, I just, the humbleness, the whole change, how he was, approaching Daniel Jacobs, I'm just a little shocked by it. Given the aggressiveness and that hunger that the Charlos always display, didn't see it right then offhand, man. That's how it always goes, though, man. You could talk crap from a distance, but when that thing get right there in your face, it's a whole nother situation. So let's see how this plays out. I hope Eddie Hearn comes to his senses and stop trying to run that protection program and run that money-making scheme on Daniel Jacobs. And I hope he allowed Daniel Jacobs to go on to be Daniel Jacobs, I did videos in the past stating that, Eddie Hearn said he wants to make Daniel Jacobs a star here in America. Well, taking him down the road that he's going ain't going to make Daniel Jacobs a star in America. What he's doing is he's using Daniel Jacobs' name, his hometown in Brooklyn, to usher in Anthony Joshua. Daniel Jacobs, you better open your eyes, man. Get your money and get the hell out of Matchroom Boxing. And then hopefully we can get fights like you and Jermall Charlo. Real talk. So to the next video, Main Man Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe. Twitter, Made Man 511. Facebook, Main Man Made Man Boxing Forum. Google Plus, Main Man Made Man. Yeah, man, I would love to see a matchup between these two, man. They're both rated right underneath each other in the WBC. This is a very, very good matchup, man. Even fight. You know what I mean? Good fight to call. Good for the sport of boxing. I mean, yo, I hope we get this, man. I hope we get this. But with confrontations like this, and as long as the media keep asking for it, eventually it'll happen. Let's hope so. So to the next video. Peace out.